Please let me know if you can hear me, because I am having issues. I think we've passed them now. Cool. Benjamin, Mr. Whale, Robert White, Camille. Good evening, guys. Any ideas how to take one down? A Lord of Skulls. A Lord of Skulls. I am not sure I have played a Lord of Skulls. Which is surprising me, because I have played against a lot of things. Is that a Corn super heavy, is it? Or maybe I've played against this. Oh right, okay, yeah. I think Brett's got one of these. It's a giant corn tank. I mean, Eradicator should normally do the job against it. Well, it's got a 3-up save, probably a 5-up invuln. Regenerates 1 wound per turn. A Lord of Skulls can shoot if there are any models within 1 inch of it, as long as all enemy models have an infantry keyword. In this case, it could shoot the enemy unit that is within 1 inch of it, or any other visible unit that is within range and more than 1 inch away from friendly models. In addition, a Lord of Skulls can move and fire heavy weapons without suffering penalty on hit rolls. Finally, a Lord of Skulls only gains a bonus to its save in cover at least if half the model is obscured from the firer. 435 point Corn super heavy. Interesting. I mean, super heavies usually are toughness 8, usually have like 26, 28 wounds, and I mean usually have something like a 3-up, 5-up save. It's kind of a standard super heavy. Couple of 5-man squads of Sanguinary Guard are going to do really well against this. Terminators with Chain Fists are going to do really well. Plasma Cannons from the Dreadnoughts are going to do well. Mortal Wounds from the Contemptor Dreadnoughts are going to do well. I mean, the battle I just played against Andrew on Monday night, he had 3 Titans. So Titans are kind of similar to Super Heavies, right? Or not Titans, sorry, he had 3 Knights. And Knights are kind of similar to Super Heavies, you know, like a lot of wounds. You kind of need to go all in on them. You either focus it down or you ignore it. And both options are difficult, because if you try and focus it down and you don't kill it, you can lose the game just because of that. If you ignore it, you can lose the game purely because you ignored it, and it can do a ton of damage to you. So when you're fighting against super heavies, I think it's just knowing what to expect. And I guess what to expect is, like, super heavies will technically do a lot of damage, will be a real pain in your butt, and like I said, you either deal with them or you don't deal with them. Has anyone played the Dawn of War games and have any thoughts about them? I have played a bunch of the Dawn of War games. The second one and the first one and the third one. I was thinking about picking up the second one because it's in the Steam sale at the moment, and you can get Dawn of War 2 and both expansions for $10, and I've never played the second one, so I thought $10 seemed like an okay price. This I'm going to start with a little bit of Brass Scorpion, but this paint is like totally separated, so and I am painting a Contemptor. I've been painting this guy now for a few weeks, so I just wanted to put a little bit of Brass Scorpion on these inside trims on the legs here. And then I'm probably going to go on with a bunch of silver, because there's a bunch of silver to do. I'm probably going to paint some white tonight. Might try and paint green into his eye sockets, a little bit around that. There's still some blood drops to go on. Yeah, there's a lot still to do with this Contemptor. I heard Dawn of War 3 is trash, but I have never played Dawn of War 3 myself. I did buy it like ages ago now. I feel like I got it when it first came out, maybe. But yeah, I never got around to playing it. But I have heard from people saying it was trash. I don't really know why. But how was everybody tonight? Hope you've had a nice weekend. It's Saturday night. We are always here Saturday night, just chilling, streaming, chatting Blood Angels, chatting about anything really. If you want to chat about something that's not Blood Angels, I'm fine with that. And I've got an unboxing video that I filmed last night. I miss a little Agrax. There's going to be a lot of Agrax on this model. I just haven't got round to doing any washing on it yet. I spent a lot of time doing base colors on this model. There's a ton of base color work that I've done on this. But yeah, I haven't done any shading on him or any inks yet. Greetings, Texan. I like the first Dawn of War a lot. I played it once on stream a while ago, but the problem is my computer isn't really good enough for streaming video games, but like, I'm saving for a new computer, so at some point I will have a new computer, and then when I do, I'll stream the odd 40k game here and there. I'm not really gonna change what the channel does. You know, the channel is a tactics channel, but you know, I usually take Friday nights off from like my day job in YouTube, so I will probably like stream some video games of an evening that I wasn't doing anything anyway. I haven't been doing much hobby as I was waiting for the Templars to drop, and now I'm knee deep in upgrade sprues. I did see some people had picked up that new Templar set. Are you pleased with it? What's your thoughts on it? Because there was a bit of contentious around the box. Like, the box for the new Templars was quite expensive. Like, it was like over $100, and you only got like, was it like 13 models or something? I feel like the number of models you got for the cost was really low. I mean, I could be off base here, but that was the feedback that I heard from the community. Ruben says, I really appreciate your videos, especially the tier lists. Thanks, Ruben. Well, one, I appreciate the support, but two, I also... Some of my friends are away at a GT this weekend, and I actually got feedback from one of them that was like, the guy that I'm playing against in this GT plays Blood Angels, and he watches your channel, and he beat my friend. So in some ways I was like thinking to myself, like, that's pretty cool. So somebody that I've never met before meets my friend at a tournament and beats him with Blood Angels because of the strategies that I've been sharing on YouTube. So I kind of got a secret, kind of got a little bit of a happy feeling about that, because I was like, yeah, maybe I am a little bit of a poster boy for Blood Angels, but I love this faction. It's the only faction I do at the moment, so it's nice to see some other people doing well with it, and it has been a tough place to be a Blood Angel in 9th edition. We have definitely not been the strongest, right? So what is everyone working on tonight, says Robert. Yeah, let us know what you are working on. Working on Vanguard Veterans with Double Claws. I didn't buy the box, I just bought the Combat Troop Patrol. Oh, that makes sense, okay. Yeah, I mean, I did think the box sounded a little bit overcosted. Have I seen the Blood Angels approved librarian I made and posted in the Discord? I have actually not been on Discord much today, Camille. Let me check. Let's have a look at him. I like it. Infernal Pistol, Jump Pack, Power Sword, Force Sword. I always want to call it a Power Sword. It is a Force Sword. I like your lightning effect, man. That must have taken you ages. That looks way better than any of the lightning effects I've ever done. Very cool. The face is also very detailed as well. I always try and go for helmeted heads because I hate painting faces. Cloak looks good as well. Yeah, it's solid, man. I will give you a little Dante mask and a Blood Angels Commander red helmet. Very cool. Finish off Assault Intercessors tonight. I found the double Lightning Claw Vanguard Veterans on eBay, so I couldn't change the loadout. I mean, you could break their arms off and change the loadout. It's not impossible. I've felt like breaking arms off models before. I'm sure I have broken arms off models before. Maybe not fully painted ones, but I've definitely broken off some. I wish I could assemble my minis, but work. Fucking hate being self-employed sometimes, says Chris. I mean, even if you're not self-employed, Chris, you can get into work. It happens to the best of us. You know, I have a family and I try and do this YouTube channel, so I actually probably spend more time a week making models and spend more time a week making YouTube videos than I do painting models. And like sometimes, if you'd seen my backlog, you would probably think that's the wrong that's the wrong way round. But it's the way of the world. If you want to, sometimes you just gotta you gotta pay those bills, I guess. Painting a streak of white at the top of these wings. Hopefully it looks good. It's also going to be very, very easy to make mistakes in this. But I guess it's like less than a month to Christmas as well, which is crazy. I don't know where this year is going, honestly. But with the ongoing COVID saga, it's kind of crazy to say it's going to be 2022 in like 5 weeks or something, and it's Christmas in 4 weeks. I'm not happy with that line there. I need to give that Celestial Grey a second coat for sure. It really hasn't stood out as much as I would have hoped. I guess anytime you're painting grey over red, you have to assume that it's not always gonna give you a solid coat, right? Just finished 10 incursors and 5 infiltrators. Nice. Phobos troops are the bomb. I love Phobos troops. I don't basically use any other troops except Phobos. The only reason I would use other troops is because I don't have enough points to include Phobos troops. I really like the Phobos troops. I think they're one of the best things that has come out in 9th edition for Marines, honestly. Because we didn't get, like, you know, the Death Company that got released in 9th aren't exactly brilliant, I guess. You know, like, I don't rate Death Company intercessors at all. We never see them in competitive lists. High five for Dan. What did Dan do? What did I miss? I've just got some more Sanguinary Guard, Sang Priest, and some Terminators to be working through that. Nice. I actually ordered some more Sanguinary Guard myself this week, be it Black Friday. There's a few deals here and there on the interwebs, and Element Games were doing a 5-time promo, 5x points or something. And I was on stream last Friday night talking about getting some more Sanguinary Guard. So yeah, I ordered some more. I think I have 19 or 20 at the moment, so this will put me on like 25 or 24, which is pretty much the whole, like if you go by the lore, there is only 25 Sanguinary Guard, I believe. So this will be me with as many as there is in the lore, I guess. And the reason that I've got so many is because I got a bunch that are made with the wrong weapon options. The wrong weapon options as it stands right now. Obviously, sometimes a strong weapon option gets changed, but as it stands right now, I think swords and axes are the strongest. I actually think axes are possibly the strongest. Just ordered some Custode jet bikes. Going to be running both Emperor's Golden Boys together, and going to be running poorly, but it's going to be fun. Why would it be poorly? I actually think the Custode jet bikes are pretty great, and I mean, the custodians probably like actually complement the Blood Angels pretty nicely. Obviously you lose your Super Doctrine, but I don't think it's the end of the world to lose the Super Doctrine. I really like that stratagem those Custodes bike have, where like you can basically charge in the enemy charge phase. I know it's expensive, but I think it's awesome. In some ways, it's a bit like the Sanguinary Guard heroic intervention stratagem, only a little bit better, because obviously you can. Where are the Black Friday deals? I mean, I don't know if there's many Black Friday deals on miniatures, so to speak. Element Games were doing 5 times loyalty points. So, I mean, the loyalty points aren't huge, but like, I guess 5 times loyalty points basically just means almost like 5% off. So if you spend £100, you would get $5. Games Workshop were doing a deal where for every £10 you spent, you got entered into some sort of tournament to win Warhammer for a year. I mean, I think I'd rather in that case just get the $5 off. Good evening, Michael. But yeah, I mean, like, you never seem to get any, like, there's never amazing deals on Warhammer any time of the year. There's just not. Like, it's just not something that tends to get really good, amazing deals. So 5x loyalty points on Element Games is kind of the best that you're going to get, I would guess. Maybe someone knows a website that gave a better discount for Black Friday, but I mean, I've been needing to buy Sanguinary Guard for a little while, so getting a few extra bucks off, I guess, is fine. You'll be stuck with 3 swords and 2 axes for weapons if you only buy 1 box. Yeah, I think I've got a bunch of axes and stuff lying around, Sayable, and if I don't, I guess I'll either go to eBay or maybe I will convert some regular, like, power axes. I think it would be pretty easy to convert a couple of power axes into Incarmine axes, right? I think you can go 4 swords, maybe. I was angry yesterday. My minis were meant to arrive with Royal Mail 24 hours but didn't turn up. The Imperium magazine has been indefinitely delayed. Do you know, we were supposed to get a delivery today as well because we're Amazon Prime customers, but I guess with Black Friday and everybody going crazy, deliveries are now just running behind, I guess. So nothing can be done, I guess, if you hunt. You know, it said on the Amazon website that they're going to deliver tomorrow. I was like, I don't think they deliver on Sundays. I really don't, so I'll be very surprised if I see a delivery tomorrow. I got 30% off some Grey Knight stuff. Cool, which website did you use, Sayable? My local game store had a pretty limited collection and I rarely order stuff online. I bought a 3D printer a few months ago, but it's not done great things for my backlog. Yeah, I can imagine. The 3D printing can probably be quite dangerous, right? But at least the 3D printing gives you lots of options. So there's a lot of things you can do now I guess you couldn't do before. Oh, shit. Alright, I need a little bit of red to do a tiny little bit of cleanup. Hello, Martin. Good evening. I'm not really sure why they only let them discount stuff 15%. Do you think Amazon cares about the Lord's Day of Rest, John? No, but I think they take Sundays off, Robert. It's a long time since someone said to me that Sunday was the Lord's Day of Rest. I mean, isn't Sunday just a lazy day for everybody? I usually try and go for a walk on Sunday mornings. It's kind of my thing. I like to take my daughter out and try and walk, like, usually for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But at the moment with the weather, it's kind of hard to go for too long because it's very cold and my daughter's very young. But I like to do that on a Sunday morning. And then when I come back, I set up the stream for the Army List show because we do that every Sunday afternoon. So I'll be surprised. We'll see if there's an Amazon Prime delivery coming on Sunday. I'll believe it when I see it. The Lord. Yeah, I was going to say, not the Emperor from the 41st millennium. That's not the Lord he's talking about, I don't think. God, this Contemptor has so many little trims on it and stuff. Like, I'm going to be going back and forth on this forever, trying to make sure that I don't make any cock-ups. I got £10 off the jet bikes, but that's because the games ship guy I ordered from gives everyone who buys more than 50 during Black Friday a little discount. Well, that's nice. Gold paint is a pain to use. Yeah, I mean, it can be. It's hard to thin gold paint, isn't it? Do you have snow yet? No, but we had crazy weather last night, Martin. Like, my wife sent me a message, like, saying, like, if you can get a lift home from work, try and find someone who's giving you a lift. And I was like, you know, I always walk home from work, so I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna walk, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then when I was walking home, there was like 3 trees blown over, and like, these are big, like, some of these were pretty big trees. I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be walking here, because if one of these trees lands on me, I'll probably be dead. So there were some pretty massive trees knocked over, and yeah, I was frozen when I got home, because I couldn't use my umbrella, because I had my umbrella out a couple of times, but the wind kept catching it, and the wind like catched it one time and like almost flipped it inside out, and I was like, if I keep this umbrella open, I'll be a little less wet, but I'll need to buy a new umbrella because this wind is going to catch and it's going to destroy my umbrella, basically. So we didn't get snow yet, but we got some crazy wind and cold rain, and we got some hailstones as well. So that was last night after I finished work. But no actual snow. Snow in Michigan last night for the first time. Okay. This is fucking global warming. I mean, I know that there's a good portion of people that don't want to believe in it, but like, pretty sure the global warming is getting pretty bad. 2 people died last night with the weather. Yeah, I mean, imagine, like, when I was walking home, I was kind of committed. Like, I'd left my job and I was like, let's say like 10-15 minutes home, and like on the way home I walked through a park, and that was when I started noticing like the trees were all blown over and shit, and I was like, and like there was no, normally when you walk through that park you see at least like 10 or 20 people. There was just nobody out, and I did actually think like, this could actually be pretty dangerous here, because like if I got hit by something or if I fell over or anything, there's nobody around. So yeah, the weather was no, I mean, if the weather is like that again, I mean, maybe I will try and like just take a taxi home from work or something, because I haven't seen weather that bad in years, honestly. I mean, that's the worst storm I've seen in like, I don't know, at least 10 years, I would say. So yeah, I think there's a crazy storm or two going around at the moment. So I guess if you can avoid being caught in it, definitely do that. Valrak fell off a roof and didn't die. I'm sure you could make a shrug. I don't know if my shrug is good enough against like a 400-old or oak tree falling on top of me. I mean, a 5-up shrug doesn't feel like it's gonna cut it there. Longbow Gaming has 35% off all Games Workshop stuff, even new stuff. Longbow Gaming, and what is the website for Longbow Gaming? Because I have never heard of them. How have I been finding Angels of Death? I have actually really been enjoying Angels of Death. I am way behind, right, because we moved house, and ever since we moved house, I guess I just haven't found the time to get like my regular video out and make a video on Angels of Death. But I have watched the 3rd episode now, and I did notice now that I can actually cast it to my TV, because before it was really difficult for me to cast it to my TV. It wouldn't cast from my phone to my TV for whatever reason. I guess it was the early version of the app. So I can cast it to my TV now. So I plan on getting caught up, watching 2 or 3 episodes in a row, and then making a video on them. And yeah, I unboxed a game last night that's not... I unboxed some miniatures last night that are not Blood Angels, which is strange because I always usually do Blood Angel stuff. But I unboxed some miniatures last night that are not Blood Angels, and I filmed it all. So I'm thinking that I'm going to put that out on my channel this week. It's going to be different, you know, it'll be like the first non-Blood Angels video. It's got nothing to do with Blood Angels. It's got something to do with Games Workshop, like they are in a way related to Games Workshop, but it's nothing to do with Blood Angels. So it'll be the first video I've ever done that's not Blood Angels related. I think I'm going to put that out later this week. That's my plan anyway, as it stands. If a Kree crushes Blood Angels commander on the street, does it make a noise? I don't know. I mean, maybe I get put in a dreadnought, right? I usually think I should really go over the miniature in a structured way, but I always end up painting left and right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have any structure in my painting. I just look at the model and pick what color I'm going to do next and do that color. It probably would be quicker if I did it in a more structured way, but like I jump back and forth a lot, and also I just jump back forth a lot. Using an umbrella in Scotland is literally like showering in a wetsuit. Yeah, you can do it, but it's going to take a lot of effort to make it work most of the time. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to point the umbrella strategically in a direction. If you point it in the right direction, you can sort of stay dry-ish, I guess. I don't know, sometimes the umbrella saves me from getting absolutely soaked. Still get wet, but like, don't get absolutely soaked. I'm gonna need to binge on Angels of Death. I mean, I'm gonna try and get caught up a few episodes this week for sure. I'll probably watch like episode 4 and 5 and then make a video on like episodes 3, 4, and 5 together. I definitely liked what I saw in episode 3. The reason that I sort of stopped watching it was like I kind of felt the episodes were too short. But I was also moving house, so I didn't have a lot of time either. So it was kind of twofold. Like I didn't have time to invest in watching the episodes, but also the episodes were very short. So this way I can watch a few more together. They'll be a bit longer. I'll probably enjoy it a bit more, and then I can make a video with a bit more substance, I guess. All right, I need some lead belcher. Lead belcher. Where are we? Where are we? Lead belcher. Heretics pass for 20 times a squad seems decent. Okay, so there is some Black Friday deals to be had apparently. some Dutch engineer created a stormproof umbrella. What is it called? Because I had an umbrella when we went on honeymoon, me and my wife, about 4 years ago. We went to Orlando in Florida, and one day that we were in I think we were in Epcot, which is like one of the Disney theme parks. The weather was insane, right? This like crazy storm came in, and we bought an umbrella in Epcot, and it was quite an expensive umbrella, and it was like, it said on the umbrella, it was like, this umbrella is guaranteed to like never like break or flip on inside itself, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know what you call that when the wind catches an umbrella underneath, you know, and like flips it out and like basically ruins all the spokes and stuff, because the wind's just too strong. And it was like, this umbrella is guaranteed to like never do that, and it's like expensive, and we bought it because we were trapped in a theme park miles away from the car, and like the rain was coming down like a proper if you've never been to Florida, then thunderstorms in Florida can be pretty intense. So we're in this proper thunderstorm, so we're like, yeah, we'll buy this umbrella. And usually when you're in a thunderstorm like that, any umbrella would do, but this one looked good because it was like, oh, this one's gonna last for ages. Took it back to Scotland. I think I used it like one time in a thunderstorm in Scotland, and it flipped inside out and just got destroyed. And I was like, well, maybe it's guaranteed in Florida, but it sure ain't guaranteed for Scotland. I thought, if someone has actually made an umbrella, like you said, some Dutch engineer that's made one that never flips inside out, then I'm interested. I need to know the name of this, because I would actually probably buy one, because I was so wet on Friday night walking home from work. It was ridiculous. I wasn't just wet, my legs were also frozen. Like, I have like a half an hour walk, and the rain was literally coming like sideways. So yeah, basically I hung my jeans up overnight, and when I got up this morning they were still wet. A friend just painted me a Volkite Contemptor, pretty hyped. Well, that's what I'm working on. I got 2 Volkite Contemptors now, and they are hype. There's nothing really to say about the Volkite Contemptors except like, if you don't have some, you should get some, because if they don't change them, they're good for like, just for the points you pay for them. They just do a lot of damage, I find. Every time you fire them, they do a lot of damage. Have I ever used oil paints for pin washes and dot filters? I have not used oil paints before. This is such a terrible pose for a dread. What, the one that I'm painting? It's been 4 months and I still have no interest in Warhammer Plus at all. Yeah, I mean, if we actually break it down, if it has been 4 months, I have watched far, far less content on Warhammer Plus for the money that I've paid for it, compared to other platforms I've paid the same amount of money for, or similar amount of money. But I mean, it's in its infancy, so maybe it'll continue to improve and develop, and it'll get better. But I think it needs to get quite a lot better still. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't know if I think it's worth the money that you pay for it right now, but I mean, I do like the fact that they've gone to the trouble of creating like a fully animated Blood Angels Space Marine show. So that's something that I probably, like, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, would we ever get a streaming network that created like a Blood Angel series as one of their pioneer series, I would have probably said to you no. So that part of it is cool, right? And obviously it can expand, and it can grow, and it can get better. I mean, I think it'll have to get better, right? Floridas go together like gators and beer. Yeah, Florida storms are pretty common. I've been in a few storms in Florida. we used to holiday a lot in Florida when I was younger. My parents used to actually have property there, so for a while, probably like 5 or 6 years, Florida was basically like a second home. We'd go there every time we could, and you know, the age I was at, I just loved it. I like Florida a lot. I like the weather a lot. It's so infectious. You know, like you come out your doorway of a morning and the sun's just always beating down. It's just always a lovely day, and you know, it's I think it's a very good way. Like, I don't know much about like depression and stuff like that, but I know that like there is apparently some sort of like phenomenon where like if you wake up and the weather is terrible every day, then you can almost get like depressed from that. Whereas if you wake up every day and you open the window or the door and it's like, wow, it's a lovely, beautiful day, there's something just like nice about that, or something that just like can just like energize you to a certain extent. Everything is wrong with Florida. You can't trust that place. Fair enough. Everyone can have their own opinion. I like Florida. That's what we called Old Stiffy just standing here for this dreadnought. I see. I mean, this was a... There is definitely better poses that you can give dreadnoughts these days. I've never heard him called Old Stiffy before, but I guess that makes sense. It's kind of like he's just in the sort of rigid default position, huh? I need more lead vulture. The starter sequel is out on Warhammer Plus. I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's just the original Astartes, is it? I don't know if I ever watched the original Astartes on YouTube, to be honest, so I know it had popped up on Warhammer Plus. I figured maybe I'd check it out after I'd finished Angels of Death. Vitamin D deficiency. Yeah, I know that you get in Scotland, like no one has vitamin D because we don't get any sun, right? So we have to take vitamin D. Like pretty much in Scotland, I'd say like it's best to just take vitamins all the time because you ain't seeing much vitamin D. Out with the months of like July and August, you ain't seeing any vitamin D. But yeah, is it vitamin D that actually is linked to happiness? I don't know anything about medical stuff. But I do know the feeling of like getting up in the morning when you've been to Florida and just walking out the door every day and seeing like, wow, it's absolutely lovely. The sun is shining. It looks like a beautiful day, and it just kind of energizes you. Cyball says, I've got to head. I want to say keep up the videos, John. Can't always catch them. I'm 100% behind your way of playing Blood Angels. You helped me a lot. By the blood are we made strong. I'm glad to hear it, Cyball. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your kind comment. I'm glad that quite a few people are starting to get behind my way of playing Blood Angels. I think it's the best way for us to be competitive at the moment. And before I found my way of playing, honestly, I was struggling a lot. Like I think I said in one of my videos, I was like a 40% win rate player, and I was like, I feel like I'm a better player than a 40% win rate player. And it was just that, I guess it was just to just knowing to make the change and head towards some sort of better balanced army or better balanced force, whatever you want to call it. I'm lucky as I see the seasons change. Hey Dagger, good evening, how you doing? Florida, like DC, can be very humid, but you should consider a light box. I know now it sounds dumb. Michigan is like that. I take 300 of vitamin D 3 times a week. That is why we're pale, to maximize the vitamin D. Yeah. It's strange to... we're in a world where it's like it's so much more accepted to just be inside all the time now, isn't it? Alright, I'm getting there with this Dreadnought. He is taking me literally forever. Greetings, cousins, from another chapter. Glad to see you painting another Relic Contemptor. My white scars feel 2 and wouldn't be without them. I take it you'll be fitting with twin Volkites. Yeah, I mean, I ran 2, Christian, and welcome from another chapter. Thanks for being here. It's nice to have other people interested sometimes. I just finished a GT like 2 weekends ago, and my list at the GT did indeed have 2 Volkite Contemptors in it. I went 4-0. There was only 2 players that went 4-0 in that GT. I was one of them. So I ended up facing Grey Knights on the final table. It was literally the first time I have ever fought Grey Knights. So it wasn't good that the first time I've ever fought Grey Knights was at the top table, and it was also not good that the first time I fought Grey Knights, like, I just didn't know anything about them, and I got wrecked. I didn't play well in that game. Like, you know, the Grey Knight player definitely played well enough to, you know, seemed like a solid player. He had better rolls than I did. You know, sometimes the game goes that way, right? Sometimes you roll hot, the enemy doesn't. I feel like he rolled better than I did, so if someone's rolling better than you on a game, the only way you can win is if you use your tactics and your strategies and your planning against them, and you know, you can quite often, if you do that right, you can pull out the win even if the enemy did roll better than you. I know I've beaten Andrew a bunch of times when I definitely felt Andrew rolls hot all the time. When Andrew was playing those buggies with the indirect fire, like, one time he rolls less than average. Throughout the game, like, every single time he has to fire those buggies, he rolls well above average. The average is like 21 shots. Andrew's like, hey, I'm getting 33 shots, you know? And I only beat Andrew, like I said, because I know his army really well, and I know exactly what to expect, and I can strategize around that. So, had a little bit of poor luck on the rolls. I don't want to blame the rolls in any way, shape, or form, you know? The reason I lost the game is I made some mistakes, and also I didn't know Grey Knights well enough. So it was my first time ever on the top table as well at GT. So, you know, I want to look at it positive and be like, yeah, well done, first time ever on the top table. So that is a positive to take away. I was probably overly nervous because it was my first time ever on a top table. And then obviously playing Grey Knights, having never played them before ever, was not good. But like I said, I think I learned a bit, hopefully. Learned how to play Grey Knights, got some top table experience. And next time I go to the top table, hopefully I will play less shit and maybe my rolls will be a little bit better. But I mean, you know, maybe I was already behind in that game, so I was really relying on like getting some good rolls. I just didn't get any good rolls. Do I have a Discord? Yeah, Shane, it's literally in every single video description, just underneath. Underneath this video, you should just be able to click show. I can't remember what you click. You under where I've written the video description, just click the down arrow and it'll open out, and there'll be links to like Discord and all that sort of nonsense. But yeah, so I was already behind in that game, so I was sort of like, I needed to get a couple of like really good clutch saves or something to get me back in the game, and it didn't happen. So yeah, it was my own. I didn't know enough about Grey Knights. I'm not upset. More power to the Grey Knight player for playing well. I was upset after the game though. Like, I came on stream a few weeks ago and I was really upset. But I think I was just I wasn't upset about the game. I was upset about the way I played, because I had to play so well to get to the final table. Like on the Saturday, I had to play Admech, and I played the guy who ended up coming 6th in the tournament. And his Admech list was really strong, and I beat him by like 20 points, but it didn't feel like a 20-point victory. You know that? You know when you play a game and you just like all the way through the game you're thinking like, holy shit, this is a close game, but then when you actually get to the scoring, it's like, oh, you win by like 20 points. That's how it felt. Like, it really felt like it was a close game against the Admech. I never once in that game felt like I could relax. Like, I never once felt like, okay, if this happens, I can win this game. No, I just felt like, holy shit, this is Admech. He's going to shoot me off the table. He's doing so much damage in every single turn he's got. I think that he's going to win this game, you know? So I had to play that game against Admech, and right after that, I played a game against a Speedwag Orc list. And I actually don't know where the Speedwag Orc list finished in the tournament, but I think it was high, because when I came up against him, he was obviously 3-0. Yeah, he would have been 3-0, I think. No, 2-0. And I'm pretty sure he won one more of his games at least. So I came up against this really strong Speedwag Orc list as well, and after I'd beaten Admech and the Speedwag Orcs, I had literally given myself a headache, because both those games were so tough. I had to do like so much maths and strategy in my head, and I literally had the worst headache that evening. And it was kind of funny because somebody said like, oh, maybe the Blood Angels player was like submarining his way to get to the top table, and I was like, yo, I had to play Speedwag Orcs and Admech. I was friggin' chuffed to just beat them, let alone score 80 points in both games. Like, I was not submarining at all. I was doing the darn best I could do. And yeah, so I played all these like crazy tough games to get to the top table, and then I think I'm hearing my Discord ping, so let me close Discord, sorry. I played all these crazy tough games to get to the top table, and then I just played really badly on the top table, so I was upset at myself about that. Drill your smokestacks. I don't drill any of my gun barrels. Or my smokestacks. I got a 2-year-old kid, and I do a YouTube channel that needs about 30 hours a week. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Let's say the YouTube channel takes 20 hours a week, but I get about 25 hours of free time, so I don't have time to I have time to drill gun barrels, I'm sorry. Maybe one day when I've finished my entire backlog, I will go back and drill gun barrels, but that will be a day a long time from now. And someone said I did really well at the tournament. I appreciate that. We should do a poll and see who drills their gun barrels. Okay, we could do a poll on gun barrels. Yeah, you can't post a link in the chat here because I think YouTube prohibits it. I don't know how to fix that. Someone asked the other night if they could post a link, and I was like, if I knew how I could let you do it, I would let you do it, but I think that's actually YouTube stopping you post a link. So you either need to share, if you want to share a link, you either need to share it over on Discord or Facebook, I'm afraid. It might also just be YouTube being like proactive and like stopping people putting like, if they stop links, then it just means there's no danger. Do you have a favourite brush size from the Army Painter range? I actually only own a few Army Painter brushes. I think they've been okay, but they're not my favourite. I prefer I've been using Element Games brushes a bit, and I also been using Artist Opal brushes. The Artist Opal ones are pretty expensive, but I think in some ways you kind of get what you pay for with brushes. So I generally enjoy using the Artist Opal and the Element Games ones more, but usually when I paint, I just generally always paint with a size 1. It's just a thing that I do. I'm pretty sure this will be a size 1. I think the character brush is the equivalent of a size 1, so I just always... Size 1 seems to be in... I mean, unless I'm like doing some base coats or something, I just tend to generally always just paint with a size 1 brush. I definitely paint battle ready styles though, you know, like I don't go into crazy details, so I don't need anything smaller. I think size 1 gives me good accuracy, and usually I'm pretty happy with the results I get from using size 1 brush, so that is my opinion on brush sizes. Size 1, or like size 1 or nothing. When Auspex Tactics covered that GT, you were irritated that he didn't mention me. That's very kind of you to say, Marcus. To be honest, the list Auspex Tactics covered from that GT, the Admech Scions list that finished second, I beat him in game 4. So we were both 3-0, and I beat him in game 4 to go 4-0. So he actually went 3-1 there. And that's kind of... The scoring in those tournaments is a bit weird, right? Like, because I ended up getting beat by 2 other players that did submarine their way through it, right? One of them lost their very first game. So if you lose your first game in a GT, you play easier games for the whole weekend. So like I had to play obviously the hardest games because I never lost a game. So arguably it was going to be hard for me to score points, especially with a like Blood Angels are anything but meta right now, you know? So like I had to play all these crazy meta army lists, like the Admech, like the Orc Buggies, and scoring 80 points against those lists was crazy. I was really pleased with scoring 80 points against some of those lists. I mean, if you guys have played against the Orc Buggies, even just beating them with Blood Angels can be a challenge. So I was really pleased with how I did. I was also really pleased to beat that Scions list. It was really close. But I mean, that's the way the scoring works, I guess. So for whatever reason, the Scions player gets second place and I take 5th place, even though I beat him in the second last game. And at that point, there was only 2 players in the entire tournament that had gone 4-0. So I guess that's just the way it works. I kind of feel like my opinion on the scoring is if only 2 players in the entire tournament have gone 4-0 and those are the players that are playing the toughest games, right? Because you're playing other players, like if you go 1-0, so 1 win, 0 losses, you play someone else that's gone 1 win and 0 losses. So like in game 4, in game 4 when there's only 4 people that have gone 3-0 at that point, then for me that's your tournament top 4. And in game 5, when there's only people that have gone there's only 2 people that have won 4, lost 0. In my opinion, that's your tournament top 2. You know, like it doesn't matter that somebody who lost their first game and has managed to stomp their way back up through the points, scoring 90 points every game. That doesn't matter. Like in my opinion, how is that better than playing the hardest lists, the 1-0s, the 2-0s, the 3-0s? I mean, I guess people can have different opinions on that. I'm totally fine with people having their own opinion. I'm totally fine with finishing 5th as well. I would have liked to finish in the top 4 because the top 4 got a medal, so I didn't get shit. But for me, I think the bigger win was getting to the top table and getting my first, essentially it was like my first tournament final, right? So like that was only the first solo GT I've been to since I came back to the hobby, because I had a long break. So yeah, in my first return to like a solo competitive GT, we made it to the top table. We hopefully learned a lot. I've tweaked my list since then, so hopefully I have a stronger army list now. So, you know, I'm going to try and push on and do better, I guess. But yeah, the scoring for me just seems a bit off. You know, if you lose your first game, or even if you lose your second game, you play easier opponents the entire rest of the tournament. So at that point, of course you're going to score more points because you're playing easier opponents. You're playing other people that have lost a game. Whereas like I was, every single game I'm playing essentially the best players at the tournament because I won every game. Alright, we're getting there with this guy. We are getting there. Do I use brush conditioner? Yeah, I use brush conditioner. All these brushes that I'm using at the moment are quite old. And the reason that they're all quite old, like I'm talking like probably 6 months or more, is because I don't tend to use my best brushes to paint dreadnoughts because one, dreadnoughts are giant and I can kind of get away with just using crapper brushes, I guess. And I guess two, I actually wanted to buy a bunch of new brushes, but because of, I guess, Brexit and COVID, it's actually kind of hard to get a hold of the brushes that I want. Like, they always seem to be on back order. So I have actually finally gone ahead and ordered some new brushes, but who knows when I'll actually get them. Nope, don't drop the models. But yeah, these brushes are definitely not ideal, but at the same time, I think I'm getting there with this dreadnought. There's quite a bit still to do, but it's tricky. John, did you saw my post that there's going to be a new update for Battle Sector? Sanguinary Guard and Terminators are coming. I did see that, Camille. I plan to stream Battle Sector, but it's going to be like February. I'm saving for a new computer. I've been saving for a while. I think I'm going to be able to buy it at the end of February. This computer that I have is terrible for video editing. It's really slow. So yeah, I'm gonna get something new in hopefully the end of February, and then maybe I can stream the odd game here or there as well, because I kind of want to do a little bit of Warhammer gaming. Sometimes I chill of a weekend or of a Friday night, so I want to be able to stream a game here and there. I tried streaming Battle Sector before. It looked okay on my PC, but like it was so laggy on the playback and stuff. So I've got Battle Sector. I'm ready to stream it. I want to stream it, but I'm not going to do it till I get a new machine. And if there is some more DLC out or new models and Sanguinary Guard and stuff, then I'll only get to enjoy the game with those, I guess. So I have been keeping half an eye on Battle Sector. I actually also placed that new Grey Knights game. I think it's called Chaos Gate, I think I placed it. I noticed it was on the Steam sale. I put that on my wish list. I think it's a bit like XCOM, and I love XCOM and XCOM 2. I used to play XCOM when I was a young kid. Like, I kind of hoped they would have released like XCOM 3 by now. Because I thought XCOM 2 was a brilliant game. I loved that game so much. I played through it like twice, maybe? Does anyone use blood for the blood god over their drops? I usually use Screamer Pink for my blood drops. And I just do one coat on them. Dan's asking what music I use for the stream. It's all royalty-free music, Dan, obviously, because it needs to be, but it's all made by Stream Beats. So like STREAM beats.com, Stream Beats. And these playlists are the Synthweave playlists. There's loads of music on Stream Beats. It's all royalty free. But I listen to the synthwave stuff. I think it's quite chilled, and that's usually what I'm looking for when I'm painting, just something a bit chilled. Oh, excuse me, I was drinking whiskey earlier, so a couple of nasty burps are going to be coming out tonight, no doubt. Why no bottom holder to keep your greasy hands off the new paint? Why no bottom holder? Because I paint... I mean, I paint with a magnifying glass, which makes it difficult to hold it down here, I guess. I think what you have to understand is, Shane, I guess, so there's probably like 3 types of hobbyists, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe someone in chat will tell me. And I think, you know, I was actually at Games Workshop a few years ago, and they talked about like the four pillars of the hobby, right? One of the pillars is like collect, one of the pillars is like paint, one of the pillars is like play, and I actually don't remember what the fourth pillar was, but I guess like in terms of like where I am within the hobby, I play, and I play to win. Like I like my opponent to have a nice game and stuff. I like to play fair, but like I don't make fluffy lists. I don't paint super high quality stuff. I paint what I want to say is like battle ready plus a little bit, so like reasonably neat and reasonably decent looking, but nothing insane. And then like, yeah, I just don't make fluffy lists. I just don't get it, right? Like some people like to do the lore and the fluff and stuff like that, but like, I don't know, I guess I'm a very competitive person. I probably always have been. But I also really like to make sure that I play fair as well, because that's really important. And so in terms of like, is there things I could be doing better when I'm painting? Probably. Am I trying to improve my painting? Yeah, to a degree I am. Like I'm always trying to probably paint a little bit better or a bit neater. But using, like, my eyesight's pretty bad, so using this magnifying glass is, I kind of need it, otherwise I can't see the models well enough. So if I'm using this magnifying glass, yeah, I guess it's very awkward because it's just off camera, like it's just out of shot here. You see it? So like I have that Citadel Miniatures painting handle, but like I just can't use it because if I try and use it, I end up like bashing it into this magnifying glass like all the time. It's like no use to me. So and I think I paint a lot better with a magnifying glass than I do without, because I could just see better. So yeah, I'm a competitive player first and foremost. I enjoy having my army look all like uniform, and I enjoy finishing and painting models, but like I don't think I can be much better painter than I am. One, probably just don't have the time to do it, in that like I'm always trying to move on to something else. I have a huge backlog of stuff. And then two, you know, I'm usually painting within time scales to get models ready for tournaments and stuff like that. So I did finally buy a wet palette though. Like I think I told you guys a little while ago that I finally have ordered a wet palette, so that'll be coming. So that'll be something that I'm doing a little bit better. So baby steps in terms of getting better, but I suppose I do understand that like putting my greasy fingers on areas that have just been painted is not ideal, but I don't know how I could hold this model and not end up smashing the magnifying glass into it like all the time. That's probably why I end up doing like 2 or 3 coats of base colors on some of my models. My brushes are over a year old and still look new. Well, you must take better care of them than I do, or you must just be a much better painter. Total War 3 looks interesting. I played the first Total War game. I think I picked up in like Humble Bundle. It was pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if the new Total Wars are a huge difference from the original, right? It's just more factions, or am I or is there big differences from the original? I wonder when the Blood Angels books come into the Horus Heresy chronologically. I have so much more to read. What's the depth of field on the magnifying glass? This one, I don't know what you mean by depth of field, but this is a 300% magnifying glass. So this is what he looks like without the magnifying glass, and then this is what he looks like with. So it's supposed to be 300%. When you put it over like that, it doesn't look like it's 300% bigger, does it? Because that would say 3 times bigger, but it looks at least twice as big. It's supposed to be 300%, and it's also got a LED. It's also got a ring of like LEDs in it, LEDs. I guess LEDs, LEDs, whatever. So it just gives you a bit more light as well when you're trying to look in behind. But yeah, I bought this magnifying glass maybe 3 years ago now or something, and it cost like $20. And honestly, it's probably the best thing I ever bought for painting. I find that before I just couldn't see some of the detail. Honestly, I just couldn't see it, and I just didn't have the light. The one thing that the magnifying glass maybe does that's bad though is like sometimes you can spend a little bit of time getting something to look right, and then you take the magnifying glass away and you're like, oh wow, okay, so without the magnifying glass I couldn't even see that was a problem, and I just spent a half an hour fixing it. So that's about the only negative thing I'd say with the magnifying glasses. Sometimes you might end up doing a bit more detail that's kind of wasted, but I guess that's minor, right? Who else gets here tired of painting red? I mean, that's why I made my sanguinary. That's why I painted my Vanguard veterans and my Blade Guard veterans in gold, Shane, because I just finished like 2 squads of red guys, and I was like, I am not painting another squad of red guys right now. Vanguard veterans, they're very close to being first company, and first company can be, I guess in Blood Angels, first company can kind of be gold, right? So that's why I did that. Too thin coats. If you don't, Duncan Roads will appear. Yeah, too thin coats. These little twirls on these dreadnoughts are going to need a few thin coats, that's for sure. And then they're going to need tidied up as well, because they're... Did you answer the question regarding depth of field? I said, I don't know what depth of field is, but this is a 300% magnifying glass. So that's what it is. That's what it changes it to. Basically, I can see a shitload more. It's also got a ring of LEDs in it as well. So I can see, I feel like before I had this magnifying glass, my painting was let down with the fact that I just couldn't see. And this has helped make it that so I can see. And I would actually recommend one of these to anyone who wants to get better. If you're struggling to get better, then I would say get one of these, because it'll let you be a lot more accurate. And from you can use that accuracy to push on and improve, I think. I think I got mine from Amazon for about 20 bucks. I mean, it wasn't expensive. I bought some magnifying glasses. That depth of field is so shallow it's annoying to work with. I mean, I know some people buy the magnifying glasses that you can literally wear on your head. But I don't know what depth of field. Watching these streams made me want to slay the grey of my blood angels. Yeah, I have a lot of grey as well, brother. I know what you mean. The distance between the nearest and furthest objects that are acceptably sharp in focus. So what I'm asking is, how much can you move the miniature while remaining sharp? I mean, let me think about this. You need the miniature to be like, this is probably why I don't use the painting handle, right? So the miniature needs to be about this far from the magnifying glass to be in good focus. And also, if you try and put it too far away, it kind of makes you almost go like double vision, or like you can almost see it twice. So the miniature needs to be close. Like, I'd say that's like, it's like the size of its base. So like 3 inches. So the miniature needs to be 3 inches from the magnifying glass. But most of the miniature is in focus at that point. But if you go like another inch away from the magnifying glass, I mean, it's still in focus, but I can kind of see 2 of them. And if you go any further away, then you can definitely, you get some sort of weird, yeah, like it's like I can't see 2 of them, but it's like I can see 2 of them. So it's like, if you try to focus too hard on any specific bit once it's further away, your brain is like struggling, I guess, to decide which eye to focus with. So it, like, you can see it, but it's a bit of a head fuck. So that's why I guess I got rid of the painting handle, because it's too difficult to hold the painting handle and paint the guy, I guess. What's the best way to get ranged into a Blood Angels list right now? Redemptor is... D-King already answered you. Redemptor isn't bad for that. Redemptor is one of the best options. Unless you want to go to Forge World and spend a lot of money. Redemptor is... a Redemptor Dreadnought is probably the best way to get ranged into the Blood Angels. I mean, my last tournament list before this GT, I ran 2 Redemptors. Use your dominant eye only. I don't like painting with one eye. I mean, you could strap something over one, but see, if you only use one eye, you lose depth of field anyway, right? Because you need both of your eyes to get depth of field, I thought. But no, I never paint with just one eye. Someone will tell me probably in chat that I'm an idiot and you should paint with one eye, but no, I never paint with one eye. Have I ever considered using an airbrush? I don't really have a good space for airbrushing at the moment. In this new house, I have a garage, which I never had in the previous house. So maybe one day, but just because we've moved in, there's still like an absolute shitload of stuff in the garage. So there's no good place yet for me to have a... There's nowhere that's good for me to have an airbrush as of yet. Corey says he runs 3 Redemptors. Good night, Miguel. Thanks for hanging out. My list is about to be 2 Redemptors and 1 Volkite Contemptor. I mean, that's very strong as well. My list at the moment, obviously, is the 2 Volkites and the 1 Redemptor, but like, I feel like you can probably go either way on that. The small advantage, and I think it is probably quite a small advantage on the Relic Contemptors, is just the number of shots. Because the plasmas on the Redemptors are a little bit swingy, but I think if you've got 2 of them, you kind of nullify some of the problems. Is the waste of airbrushes in normal rooms so bad? I mean, you're putting paint into the air. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't use like a spray can for painting inside. I know that airbrushes is less, but I still feel you're putting paint through the air, right? Hey, good evening, Lucky Jim. How you doing? Oh, you're very welcome, Eric. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I would advise you start with a Relic or Redemptor Dreadnought. Like, I have 3 of them. I think they're, you know, you could do a lot worse than Redemptor Dreadnoughts in terms of like adding shooting to your list, and then if you do want to get a bit more serious, you want to spend a bit more money, then you could buy a Volkite Contemptor. There is a risk though that they may get nerfed. I don't think a Redemptor is going to get nerfed, but the Volkite Contemptor definitely could get nerfed. Saying that, I'm sat here painting a Volkite Redemptor, so I mean, if you bought one and started on it tomorrow, you'd probably finish it quicker than I finished mine, because I've been doing this guy for like a month at this point, and I'm not even close to finishing him. This guy has so many little blood drops and stuff that all need like 2 coats. What? That's what I was going to do next, the Celestial Grey. Alright, yeah, I'm going to do the 2nd coat of Celestial Grey next. Yeah, I don't know if airbrushing inside has any health risks. I guess the only reason that I assumed it needed to be in a garage is that my friend that has an airbrush, Andrew, uses his in his garage, and he has like he does hobby stuff indoors as well, so I assumed that because he was using it in the garage, you're supposed to use it out. Like, it probably just says you're supposed to use it in a well-ventilated space. I guess it's probably up to you how ventilated that is. Is it just a room with a window open, or yeah, I don't know what the correct answer is. Good evening from Vegas. Good evening from Vegas. One day I'm going to come to Vegas, Dave, and I'm going to hang out with you. You're going to show me all the things to do in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? I've never been to Vegas. I would like to go sometime. well ventilated areas and use a HEPA respirator. Oh yeah, so you need to use some sort of like dusk mask or something. Sup, Lord Lusijek, how you doing? Good evening. So is that just a lie they tell the tourism board for what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is a complete lie? It's a fabrication, Dave. You're in Vegas and you'll tell us the real deal. It's not 50 degrees Celsius. What temperature is it in Vegas? What is this, November? Yeah. So what is the weather like in Vegas in November? I assume it's still pretty nice because you're basically in the desert, right? You do get special masks that 24 degrees centigrade. That sounds nice, man. We were just talking about weather a little bit earlier. On Friday here in Scotland, we had, or basically yesterday, we had like this crazy storm where like, you know, 400-year-old trees were getting blown down and stuff. Like the wind was so bad. It must have been like gusting up to 100 miles an hour because you know, like the wind was so strong that at one point, like I was basically leaning forward. I was leaning like my whole body weight into the wind, and I wasn't able to walk forward. Right, like I literally couldn't walk forward. It was because like it wasn't like that constantly. It was gusting. So like during one of those gusts, I basically just had to turn my back and just lean backwards into the wind because like I wasn't able to move forward. The wind was so heavy. And like our neighbors had like a really nice gazebo with like Christmas lights on stuff all over it. And I say had because we woke up this morning and looked out the window and like the top of the gazebo was just gone. And the frame that had all the Christmas lights on it was like so warped. Like, you know, a gazebo is typically like a square. And like this morning it was like a rhombus. Like it was all just fucked basically. Like the wind last night was crazy. We have like a metal barbecue and a metal chimney in the garden. And I had them quite close to the house just because we just moved in. We've never used them. I just put them close to the house because, you know, why not, I guess. And like my wife said, you're lucky you didn't put them much closer because she thought that the chimney would have blown over and like smashed through the the glass at the back door. Because like it just and like this thing's heavy, like it was difficult to pick up for one person, and like it basically moved like 2 or 3 meters. I actually saw that somebody had a caravan, I believe, that a caravan got blown over, and someone had a trampoline. Someone woke up this morning, there was a Facebook post saying like, has anyone lost a trampoline because it's in my garden and it's like damaging my it's damaging my house because it's bouncing around and stuff. It was freezing. So yeah, we had some crazy weather yesterday. 24 degrees sounds like the land of luxury compared to what we had. No, don't make mistakes. 24 degrees Celsius is very nice. Like 24 degrees Celsius is like a beautiful sunny day in Scotland. You don't get much better than 24 degrees Celsius in Scotland. I don't miss Welsh winters at all. So were you from Wales before, were you? When did you move to Vegas? And why? Work or something? I'm going to hit this with some Celestia Grey in a second. Give all these little wings a second coating and then they should look a lot better because they look quite patchy at the moment, all these wings. Which I guess is to be expected because they have only had one coat and it is trying to put light grey over red. It's never going to be that great on a single coat, right? Just trying to see if there's anywhere I can do a tiny little bit of neating up first. Greetings, Highland Phoenix. You've been out to the bar tonight, Highland. How are you doing? You're always in super late. What do you do on a Saturday night? What does Highland Phoenix do on Saturday night that means that he's always super late? Bets in chat for what Highland Phoenix does on a Saturday night. You didn't miss much. I'm still working on this damn Contemptor, Highland. 100 inches of snow a year. And how many, if you get 100 inches of snow a year, how many, like, say you have a really heavy night of snow, how many inches are we talking about in a single night? You've dropped to minus 75 before. That sounds nasty. I used to live in Wisconsin. Winters there were awful. I live in Oregon now. We get light rain throughout the winter and it rarely gets below freezing. I've seen some NFL games like played in, let's say, like January or February, like in Wisconsin. Like maybe it's not Wisconsin. Is it Green Bay? That's in Wisconsin, isn't it? Like Green Bay Packers NFL games in like January or February, like playoff games or something. They almost want the home game, I think, there because it's so fucking cold. If the other team is Miami Dolphins, they're just fucked because it's like so damn cold in Wisconsin, and they're like the quarterbacks are rocking, like, they're not rocking gloves, but they have these little pouches that they want to put their hands in because it's like ridiculously cold. So I've seen some NFL games like played in Wisconsin and stuff like that. That looks brutal. I don't know how anyone manages to do that. They must literally not be able to feel their hands after that game for like an hour. I was watching part 1 of the new Beatles documentary. I can't believe you rate me below the Beatles, Highland Phoenix. Come on, if the Beatles showed you how to get 4-1 in a GT, what have the Beatles ever done that's better than Blood Angel's Commander? I've only been in minus 65 in Ontario. There's people I know up in the north in the Denell range hits minus 75 before wind chill and it gets to minus 100. I don't think I've ever been in less than minus like 30, I think, is the most that I've ever seen. And yeah, that felt pretty cold. But yeah, those sort of minuses are insane. That's just insane. It's cold here, and it's worse than what you could ever expect in Great Britain. Yeah, I don't think. Peter Jackson directed a Beatles documentary. He's fallen a long way from Lord of the Rings, hasn't he? Has he actually done any good movie? Well, I don't know about your Beatles documentary. I'm sure it's fine, but has Peter Jackson actually directed any good movies since Lord of the Rings? Don't get me wrong, I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't think he's done much successfully since that, has he? I guess that was kind of like his masterpiece, huh? Someone's gonna like snap out with a Peter Jackson movie that I've never heard and be like, this is the best Peter Jackson movie ever. He did Brain Dead. I liked that movie, to be honest. Speaking of, I have not seen Brain Dead in like 20 something years now. I bet the special effects did not hold up well. The Beatles were bigger than Jesus. I mean, the Beatles were good, right? But they never won a GT, did they? Jackson did They Shall Not Grow Old, an Amazing World War I documentary? Okay. Well, is there something I can watch that on? Like, is it on Netflix? Is it on Amazon Prime or something? I've never heard of that one. Mortal Engines, I heard, was a total flop, but I haven't seen it. I just heard it was bad. I've heard mixed things on that Wheel of Time show. I heard like one of my friends from work was very excited about Wheel of Time, and then my wife tried to watch one of the episodes this week and she said it felt like a cheap she said it felt like cheap made for TV stuff and didn't like it. So Wheel of Time seems to be swinging both ways. I haven't had a chance to check it out myself yet. Blood Angel's commander is bigger than Sanguinius, is that what you're saying? Maybe when Dante retires, I can be the new BAC, like officially. These like super thin gold trims here are so difficult to paint and get right. I mean, I feel like they're pretty decent. They're certainly not perfect, but I think I've got them pretty decent now. I'm not enjoying the Wheel of Time show. I'm a huge fan of the book. Anything your wife has it spot on, it feels like a cheap Game of Thrones clone. Okay. I mean, I don't know if my wife has read the book. I don't think she has. We just saw it pop up on Prime and there was a lot of hype around it, right? But sometimes that happens. Sometimes for some reason shows feel cheap. It's hard to, you know, I guess it's hard to put a. It's hard to say why that happens. Plus, here's something that people that and it's kind of the same. I mean, in some ways, it's the same even for Lord of the Rings. Any movie that they make of a book is not going to be as good as the book, right? Like, it's near impossible to make it as good of the book, because you wouldn't think it. You would think in like a 3-hour feature film, you could portray more than you can in a book. But when you actually think about a book, and like when your imagination takes over and you set the scene and stuff, I feel like you still get a lot more out of a book than you can get out. Even, you know, like Marvel are putting what, $1 billion into some of these movies, and I think that if they wrote a book, the books would probably still be better. 10 million an episode. Wow. Wish see if I had 10 million an episode for this channel. We would be making some shit, boys. We would be making some serious shit. We'd have like green screens and everything. Yeah, you need to use the side of your brush. I'm trying. Those little gold trims are so small though. It's really difficult to even hit them with the side of the brush and not end up spreading the paint out everywhere else. That's really tricky. As I said, I'm not the best painter anyway, but I appreciate the tip, Camille. You can't make a movie like all of our imaginations. Yeah, you're very right, Outdoor Corey. That is pretty much spot on it. I've read a bunch of like Star Wars books that are I guess legends now, right? Because they rebooted everything with Star Wars, and they decided like a bunch of the older books are no longer canon, so they call them legends. And some of those Star Wars books are so good. They're so much better than the 3 new movies they made. The movies with Quinn? I actually don't even remember the character's name. Finn, that's the one. Finn. They're so much better than the movies with Finn, Rey, and Poe Dameron. But saying that, if they end up making those movies or making those books into movies, they may end up being shit, right? So it's like, I don't know what I want. Like, I know I don't like the new Star Wars movies, but I don't want them to butcher the old books that, in my opinion, were 10 times better. I also heard like a really interesting thing that they said to one of the authors. Like, for example, if the author's book now becomes a movie, most of their audience in the future are going to find it from the movie rather than the book, right? Because I like feel like more people, it's so much less barrier to entry a movie than a book, right? Because a movie is like you just sit down and consume all the content and it's nice and easy. Books actually require like effort. So like if you have a series or whatever and you make it from a book into a movie, then arguably the first time people engage with that author's content now on is in movie form. And if the movie sucks, then they're like, well, that movie sucked, I'm not going to read the book. So it's pretty interesting dilemma, right? Meanwhile, who knows what's going to happen with Warhammer Plus, right? Are the most popular books going to potentially become anime series or something? I mean, and then at that point, people will get into it from the series, but if the series sucks, then people will never read the book. So there's so many questions. Imagine what Tony's art would look like with 10 billion behind it. Yeah, it would look better than a red sphere, that's for sure, James. Finn was the best thing about the first one. They completely screwed that character and actor over. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't hate The Force Awakens. I just hate the other two movies. And I actually thought Harrison Ford was the best thing about The Force Awakens, but that was my opinion. JF asks, is a Primaris Apothecary better than a Sanguinary Priest to go with my Blade Guard veterans? I mean, yes and no, maybe, I guess is the answer. I mean, the good thing about the Sanguinary Priest is that he can get you in that Assault Doctrine earlier, right? And Assault Doctrine is arguably one of the strongest reasons to have. Like, getting into Assault Doctrine earlier is possibly stronger than being able to heal a unit, right? Because it gives you a lot more punch. Sanguinary Priest, I think, is 90 points. Firstborn Apothecary, Primaris Apothecary is like 85. What can a Firstborn Apothecary do that Sanguinary Priest can do, though? Like, nothing, right? Sorry, Primaris Apothecary, can they do this? Nothing? So I guess, like, if you've got the 5 points, I'd probably take the Sanguinary Priest. I mean, he has one less wound, but if he's hanging out with your Blade Guard, the enemy really shouldn't be able to target him so well. He's a lot better in close combat. And again, close combat is kind of where we excel at. You're never going to do much damage with the pistol Apothecary runs, right? Does anyone in chat prefer a Primaris Apothecary over a Sanguinary Priest? And if so, why? I think the answer is, my opinion is the answer is the Sanguinary Priest better if you've got the points. JF. Afternoon Commander, how goes it? Says Nama Legion. Doing pretty well. It's not afternoon here actually, it's 5 to midnight. Bedtime for me. Thanks all, and thanks John for making a White Scar cousin feel welcome. Enjoyed the chat. Thanks for hanging out, Christian. If you do want to subscribe, you know, you're welcome to subscribe even if you aren't a Blood Angels player. We are here pretty much every week, putting out Space Marine / Blood Angels content and also live streams, so please come hang out. Plus we do live games every Monday night on this channel. This week it might be Tuesday, but for the most part it's always live Monday night games, and I usually win. I mean, I'd say I usually win. I've lost a few games this year, maybe like a handful, but for the most part we usually get the Angels of Death. We usually show what Blood Angels can do on a Monday night, and we crush everything from Speedwag Orcs to Knights to what have we not crushed? We haven't beaten Admech on the channel yet, I think. Maybe we need to try and get Admech on again. I have beaten them in the last 2 tournaments I've run into them though, so Highland Phoenix asks, what say you to 1 or 2 Landspeeder Storms idea for your list? Useful in current metas, maybe. I don't hate the idea of Landspeeder Storms. I mean, like you said, they're kind of cheap for 55 points. They're T6, they're mobile. They could score some points potentially. I mean, I don't hate them, I just don't own any Landspeeder Storms, and I don't feel like I'm in a rush to buy them. If you want to run them and let me know how you get on with them, I'd love to hear that, but I actually don't think I even have any fully built land speeders period at the moment. Which is strange because I obviously run a Tech Marine now. I'm just not sure that I feel land speeders. I just don't feel land speeders are that good. I mean, I've played against the Deathwing where he had like tons of land speeders. They seem okay, but like, yeah, just if they just seem okay for Deathwing, then they're probably going to seem weaker for Blood Angels. I just don't think Land Raiders are that good at the moment. I mean, maybe situationally doing your tactic Highland Phoenix is okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, okay, so the only reason that the priest would be better, I guess, is if you don't have a HQ slot, right? Says Camille, and that's a very good point, Camille, thanks for pointing that out. Just picked up the Phobos Combat Patrol with 3 extra Eliminators, but do I make the Marines in cursors or infiltrators? In my opinion, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd have said infiltrators. If you asked me today, I'd say incursors. I think a lot of people are running a lot less deep strike now in 9th edition. It seems like infiltrator's strength is maybe a little bit less than it was before, and the 1 AP that the incursors get extra is legitimately handy for actually dealing out damage on the incursors. So I actually already own 2 fully painted squads of infiltrators, and I'm working on adding 3 squads of incursors. Yeah, 3 squads of incursors, because I think if I don't have any, I would take incursors. But I mean, it's not bad to do a mix. It's certainly not bad. You could do a lot worse than incursors or infiltrators. Phobos troops are the best troops in 9th edition, in my opinion. Just the guerrilla tactic stratagem alone kind of elevates them above everything else. Can we run apothecaries as well as sanguinary priest? Is it intended, or is it just a side effect? Yeah, I mean, you can run both, James. There's no reason you can't run both. Seeing Luke treated that way made me rage worse than the Kylo in the elevator. Yeah, I wasn't really pleased what they did with Luke Skywalker. And as much as the outdoor Corey, as much as they want to say, there's going to be a big spoiler for The Last Jedi. I'm going to drop a spoiler for The Last Jedi. I mean, if you've not seen The Last Jedi at this point, I guess you don't care, or you shouldn't care, because it's been out for probably like 5 years. The thing that bothered me with that whole argument about Luke Skywalker was in Return of the Jedi, when like Darth Vader is like fighting him in the Emperor's throne room, and he's like throwing his lightsaber at him and all this, and he's legit trying to kill him. Luke's just like, I will not fight you, father. And then he went from that, he went from Luke Skywalker, who's literally who's not fighting against Darth Vader, when like Darth Vader is the biggest badass in this entire universe and he's a murdering bastard, and even so Luke wouldn't fight him, to I'm worried about one of my students falling to the dark side, so I'm just going to sneak into his room and kill him while he sleeps. That didn't really sit with me as the correct path for Luke Skywalker's character arc. So that's probably one of the reasons that I hate those movies. I mean, there's a lot of other problems with those movies, but yeah, that wasn't Luke. You know, when I grew up, I read a lot of books on Star Wars, and that was not Luke Skywalker for me. That will hashtag not my Luke, I guess. And I mean, I guess that could be debated forever, but yeah, for me, that's not Luke Skywalker for me. Do we not talk about Grey Knights? We can talk about Grey Knights. Do you know what? If we're just talking about my win streak on the channel, I haven't lost on the channel since the 14th of June then. And I actually probably added a few more wins since then. So that win streak is probably like, I think my current win streak on the channel, Highland Phoenix, is, the GT was how many weekends ago? I think it was the first weekend of November. So I mean, my win streak on the channel right now is about 12 games. So I was on a win streak on the 15th of June that ended. I probably lost one single game, and now I'm on another 15 or 20 game win streak. Maybe not quite 15. I think it's probably 12. But regardless, it could be the longest win streak on the channel yet. Oh yeah, I forget that those speeders have 7 wounds. You're right. Yeah, I mean, maybe at some point in the far future we'll buy some land speeder storms, but yeah, I just don't know if it feels like a pretty niche strategy, maybe. Brent says, how well have the assault intercessors been going for you? I use my 2 times incursors and 1 times intercessors for my troops. My intercessors just do actions all game. The assault intercessors haven't done that much for me. The one way that I've been using them though is like I reserve them every game and I try and bring them on near an enemy objective where I can make a charge. And the idea is to just use them to obsec an objective away from the enemy to try and get like some swings on the primary points. And I mean, or you can bring them in and do actions like you said, but I don't think assault intercessors do much damage. I mean, troops for us don't do much damage in general, but like if I had 10 points extra, I'd probably just take a 3rd squad of incursors. But I don't, so I run 1 squad of assault intercessors, and I mean they do look cool with their chainswords and stuff. They just don't do much damage, but I mean they can come in from reserve, they can do an action, and they can also charge and try and obsec something away from the enemy. So as long as you know that's all they can do, then if you can play around it, great, right? I found that if you need units on the table that are Phobos, eliminators are great for it. Yeah, eliminators aren't bad. I prefer them with las fusils, honestly, to the sniper rifles. But I also like the sergeant, gives them that sort of double move ability. So yeah, eliminators aren't a bad choice. I think you could do a lot worse than eliminators. But I also don't think they're super strong. Like, I guess that's why I'm running Battalion now, though, is to have those 2 Phobos units so that we can sort of guarantee easy scoring for something like Retrieve Octavius data. It says the previous win streak was 14, yeah. But I think I'd have to go check now. I mean, technically, I've probably won 12 games in a row in the channel, but I did have that 4-1 GT in the way, so technically I probably won 16 out of the last 17 now. And before that, I was on some sort of other win streak as well. So yeah, I mean, I've been, you know, a lot of people have been complaining about Blood Angels in 9th. I don't really have too many complaints. I have complaints that our named characters suck. I think all of our named characters suck and I don't run any of them. But the rest of our strength I actually think is okay. I don't think we're undercosted. I don't think we're underpowered. What I do think, the one thing I do think is, like, I think Sanguinary Guard could have stayed at 30 points. I don't think they needed to go up to 32 points per model. If you've ever played against Sanguinary Guard, you'll know that you can kill them very, 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 very quickly. They basically wear glass armor with no invulnerable saves. And there's so many 2-wound weapons in the game right now. They just don't survive, in my opinion. So the Sanguinary Guard could maybe have stayed at 30 points per model. I really don't think they need to go up. But apart from that, I think the rest of the stuff with Blood Angels is okay. Yeah, we got our codex early, and yes, it isn't the strongest codex, but I mean, it's not horrible. And I think I've proved that if you use the right units and you play the right strategies, you can grind out wins. Paper defense and gold armor. Yeah, I'm going to start running. I think I'm going to run 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard on Monday night, assuming that we get. Oh, we're not going to be playing. We're probably going to be playing on Tuesday night. Sorry, I think I already mentioned that. We're probably going to be playing Tuesday night this week, but I think I'm going to run 2 squads of. I think I'm going to run 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard, and we'll see. Because I've typically never run 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard. Honestly, I mean. I was running 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard at the very beginning of 9th when I was running the full melee list. I was getting killed and beaten all the time, so I don't know if that counts because I wasn't doing well when I was running them. But I mean, I was running them in all melee list. Now my list composition is much different and much improved, I think. All right, I'm probably gonna leave it here for tonight. I'm gonna hang out for 5 more minutes and just chat. But my eyes are getting kind of tired, and it is coming up for 10 past midnight, so it's kind of my bedtime. But this guy keeps moving on. I like Contemptor Dreadnoughts, I think they're cool. This guy's getting maybe like 1 more session of base colors, and then I might be able to start doing some washes. Maybe. The white I did on all these wings needs probably a second coat. There's a few flourishes around their legs that I haven't done yet. Yeah, and some other bits might want a second coat, but yeah, overall, this guy's kind of getting ready to get some washes on him soon. Howdy, Ryan. Good evening. You're just tuning in the last 5 minutes of the stream, but I appreciate you tuning in nonetheless. Any thoughts on Death Company Dreadnoughts? My thought is, why do they not have core? Why do they only move 6 inches? What do you do when the dice won't go your way? I mean, you tough it out, I guess, Shane. Typically, you'd only going to roll bad for 1 game. Like, if you're at a tournament, you're not going to roll bad for all 5 games. It's going to be a single game. So, tough it out. Don't lose morale. Know that the dice were against you, but, like, don't let it bother you. Good evening, Steve. How you doing? Nice painting. I appreciate that. Are you going to magnetize this Contemporary? He's already magnetized. I was actually painting over the magnets here. Wrong gun. Wrong gun. 3rd time lucky. I mean, the magnet, I could have done the magnets better. I kind of was lazy and just slapped some big magnets on the bottom of the gun arms here, but at the time, when I wind back 4 weeks, this guy was basically nowhere and I needed him for a tournament. I ran a Death Company Dread with my company. Hell, my Death Company has a Storm Raven and a Titan to be painted. What if you freakishly bad luck? Over and over again. All I want is average. I rarely get it. I don't believe 40k is a game of dice. I honestly don't believe that. I have some friends that like ask me like how you can play it competitively because it's got, you know, like the dice rolls and the randomness in it. I don't believe it's a game of dice. I believe it's a game of strategy and sort of repetition and knowledge, in that if you know what you're attacking and you know what you how you're gonna, how much damage you're gonna do, how you're gonna survive against things. I think if you put in the effort to know that stuff, then you'll win games because you know that stuff and your enemy probably doesn't know that stuff. So I really don't believe 40k is a game of luck or a game of dice. I think it's a game of strategy. The dice are just a mechanic that more often or not create probability. So if you're struggling with, if you think you have bad luck, Shane, you might have bad luck, but I think possibly you just need to learn your units more. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean, like, I'll give you an example of how much research I would put into a game. I play Andrew and he uses his Rucker Trucks, for example, and the Rucker Trucks, you know, they're basically marine killers. Like, they're strength 5, -3, 2 damage each, right? So each failed save is a dead Marine. And even in cover, you're still only saving on like a 5-up, right? So like, I've got a squad of guys, and I know that each Rucka Truck squad gets an average of 21 shots, and they hit on 4s, so I expect like 10.5 hits, and they wound on 3s, so I expect like 7 wounds, right? And then I know that I'm only going to save on 5-up, so if I have to take 7 saves on 5-up, what's my probability of like having some guys alive? It's pretty bad, right? So I know that if Andrew targets like a squad of incursors in cover who are on a 2-up save because they're in cover, I know that like he's probably the squad of rocket trucks, if he rolls anything above average, the squad is going to be dead. So I know if I need that squad to be alive, I need to play some stratagems on that squad, like transhuman, like smokescreen, right? And it's going to make it more difficult for him to hit or more difficult for him to wound. And if I don't do that, then I can fully expect that squad to be dead. And I think, you know, if you're going to a tournament and you don't know a bunch of armies, you're not going to know that for all the different armies. But I think that over time, part of it is like I said, repetition. You know, if you played that same list every week and those rocket trucks keep deleting your squads week on week, you're like, okay, now I know they delete my squads every week, so I need to do something about it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, if you know the math and then you can use that to help you make informed decisions on playing the stratagems, then I think that's where I think it's more important than anything you roll on dice, because you roll the dice enough times you'll get averages, right? But yeah, I think that's something to think about, and that's how I would look at it. The dice are terrible, but if my wife put... Alright, so your strategy is just bring your wife to your games, man. Just tell your wife, I know you wanted to go shopping this Saturday, love, but hey, I need someone to come roll some dice for me, so shopping trip is cancelled. I didn't want to give you my credit card anyway, wife, so, you know, come hang out, play Warhammer with me. That's what you've got to do, Shane. But yeah, okay, I am going to call it a night, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back tomorrow to look at army lists. As always, I am always here on a Sunday. And that will be live from about 4 PM UK time for about 2 hours. I will tell you what army lists we're going to look at tomorrow, though. Just because, why would we not figure out whose army lists we're going to look at tomorrow? We are going to look at army lists from... It's on my desktop. We're going to look at James Gibb, John Collins, these guys are both members, and then Peter Baldry and Sam Millibauer. So if any of you guys want to come see some army lists tomorrow and chat about basically Blood Angels, I'll be here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for being here. You guys all stay safe, and yeah, by the blood, army made strong. Peace.